อ Okay, we're ready, y'all.
Testing. Okay, guys, we're gonna get started. We've got quorum in person. Quick roll call. I'm here, Jill Dominguez. In person, we also have Murad, Cesar, and Sergio. And online, joining virtually.
Mark
Yeah.
Horowitz.
Hi, Mark.
Hello.
And then I think we might have Tracy. Tracy, are you joining us online? Can y'all see her?
Okay. Let's mark the time at 5:10.
Okay, Tracy, whenever you're there, let us know. We're gonna get started with our first item is public comment. And I see we have one public comment for tonight. Just a quick reminder for public comment. Please stand up to the podium, state your name and address before you begin your presentation. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. And we have a public comment. We'd like to welcome Ruben Cantu from Frontera Leadership Institute.
Ruben will
Good
be
evening,
joining
everyone.
us.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can. Hi,
Hi,
welcome.
Ruben.
Hello, thank you very much. It's so weird to see me on myself like a feedback loop. Hope you're doing hope you're doing well today. Yeah, so if you want me, I can start with the public comment or I can wait.
Go ahead, start.
Well, it's a pleasure, board, BCIC board, to be able to be here and finally be able to meet. I know we were supposed to do this last month, but travel and all that, we finally made it work here on Zoom. If you all have been in the building, you probably saw my office at the very front by the next to the elevator. We're very excited to be there. For the Frontera Leadership Institute is a 12-week, 3-month program taking students through executive leadership training, entrepreneurial training, and what I was teaching at the University of Texas, product management training. I was there for the past 6 years. As I've departed my last day as July 5th at the University of Texas, we've now focused on building elements, which is our new effort, a new venture. And our first pilot project is with you all. It's an honor to be able to launch this with you. I want to thank Corey, Nathan, and the rest of the team for giving us this opportunity, and board for approving it. Right now, we have our program set to start August 16th on a 3-day retreat. We currently have slots for 20 people. We closed the deadline this past Saturday with a total of 23 applicants, and we're going to see if all of them make it in as we finish doing the interviews this week. And the last day will be on November 1st or 2nd. I believe November 2nd will be our wrap-up day, but November 1st will be our final showcase day. So board, please mark it on your calendars. I would love for you to come and see what we've done in the next couple of months so that you can see what this project is all about. I'm looking forward to actually bringing it in a more established way to the Valley, to Brownsville, hopefully next year. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I wanted to let you all know that we've been hard at work. I have me and my team, a staff of 2, working alongside the BCIC team, and so far things are working well.
Thank you, Ruben. We really appreciate partnering with you, and we're real excited for you to kick it off.
Thank you. Is there any questions from the board?
Well, actually, they can't do any questions. It's a public comment.
Okay. Well, with that, let me know if you'd like me to stay on board or if you want me to let go.
Looks like Tracy's
It looks
here,
like
but she's saying
Tracy
she
can't hear, so, Mark, can you hear everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay, Tracy, can you check your audio settings by chance?
You mean to message her? She probably can't hear us.
Yeah, you know what, that's right.
Okay, thank you for the public comment. We're going to go on to number 3, which is consent agenda items. All items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. If requested by a board member, any item can be taken off the consent agenda by the chair for individual consideration.
Are there any questions in regards to the consent agenda items?
Your microphone, please.
Motion to approve consent agenda items.
We've got a motion
Second?
and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We need a pause. Yep. We do have someone online. Okay. We have to wait 1 second. Cesar stepped out of the room, so before we go on to number 4. While we're waiting, Tracy, can you hear us? She said it was working earlier and she could hear. She said it was working earlier. Okay.
While we're waiting, I want to make a public announcement. Sometime this week, we're going to have a young man from the valley that's going to swim in the Olympics.
Yeah, Thursday.
Isn't that awesome?
Shane
So,
Casas.
Yeah,
Wow,
so that's pretty awesome.
that's pretty cool. That's great.
Tracy, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
Okay, well, we're waiting, still waiting for Cesar, right? Well, can we still do presentations, because there's no action on that? Or we have to?
Can we table the item to, after Cesar coming, to approve the minutes?
What's that?
Table the item to approve it after that, it's easier.
Okay.
Dude, we're not I told you guys, we're going to coffee.
Okay, here we go. So we have, on the number 3, which is our consent agenda items, we have a motion, we have a second, and we're voting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Do we have, okay, motion carries.
Okay.
We're gonna move on to number 4, which is staff presentations.
Okay, so good evening, BCIC board members and the community. I'm delighted to stand here before you today to recognize one of our amazing team members for his incredible dedication and hard work over the past 5 years. In any organization, the true strength lies in the people who work tirelessly behind the scenes, bringing their skills, passion, and hard work to the table. Today, we honor to acknowledge Nathan Burkhart, who joined us 5 years ago as a director of marketing and small business, and has since become an invaluable part of the team as the vice president of entrepreneurship and innovation. Nathan, from day one, your love of the community and history, your professionalism, your unwavering dedication have been truly inspiring. Your contributions have not only helped achieve our goals and gain recognition from our peers, IEDC, and our state leaders, but have also set a high standard for others to follow. You have faced challenges with a positive attitude and continuously sought to improve and innovate. Over these past 5 years, you've shown an amazing ability to adapt, learn, and grow. Whether it's taking the eBridge Challenge alongside me, your incredible work ethic, or your team spirit, or your willingness to go the extra mile, you continuously show just how invaluable you are to our team. As we celebrate this milestone, I can't help but thank the countless ways you have made a real difference. Your contributions have driven our organization forward and created an encouraging and empowering environment for our team. So we look forward to many years of our continued success and contributions. On behalf of the entire team, I want to express our deepest gratitude for your unwavering dedication and hard work. Congratulations on hitting this awesome milestone of 5 years of service. Your achievements are truly outstanding, and we feel lucky to have you as part of our family. So let's all give a big round of applause to Nathan. Nathan. I should have called him up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do we want to stand in front of this?
57 years ago. I'm kidding. Thank you all. It's been a pleasure. This is the longest job I've ever had, actually. So, thank you.
Best job?
Yeah, and best job.
And now we're gonna turn it over to you for an economic impact and recap report for Startup Week.
Board, Corey, thank you all again for the award, and thank you all for letting us do crazy things like Startup Week. I'm going to go briefly through this. Please save your questions for the end because I think I might answer some throughout the presentation. And we have a super long agenda, and so I want us to get through that. This event was anchored in the belief that, we have this ecosystem of entrepreneurship here that's untapped, and we wanted to expand the network outside of the bounds of just Brownsville and kind of bring in everybody from the Valley to the eBridge Center. And so we created Startup Week. This was a huge endeavor of 8 days. We could not have done this without our partners, all listed here. I'm not going to go through the entire list here. You can see the logos on there, but UTRGV, ECC really came out in support with us. PNC Bank was our biggest sponsor. Fruium Motors, Felicia, a previous board member, really helped us out a lot. Edinburgh EDC, Harlingen EDC all participated. Mission EDC all gave either in-cash sponsorships as well. Arca Continental, Coca-Cola, they gave us like $4,000 worth of sodas and waters that we still kind of had even weeks after the event. It was a really great turnout. I don't know why my slides messed up here. I'm sorry, but those are kind of the keynote events per day over the 8-day festival. That's our entire schedule of all the keynotes and kind of breakout sessions we had. At one point, we even had 4 sessions at a time, which we're never going to do again. I think we won't do more than about 2 because we ended up cannibalizing from others. But what was nice is there was still a good amount per session for every speaker. And there's a couple highlighted photos there. This is kind of what I'm most excited to share is that we had over 718 people come to the eBridge Center during Startup Week. Our goal was 500. We got up to 718. We sold 787 tickets. I say sold, every ticket was free, but we had 787 registered. The average visitation was 1.8, so most of the people that came to the eBridge Center came almost twice. This is Placer AI software. It eliminates BCIC staff, UTRGV staff, our tenants from this data. It recognizes your cell phone data. If this is a place that you usually work at, you're not going to be counted in these statistics. Largest city by far was Brownsville. After that, it was Harlingen and Mission. No surprise there. Those are our partners through this as well. There's the kind of spike in traffic flow. I will also say, and I didn't include this in here and I should have, but Rudy got some good Placer data. That week, downtown businesses, a majority of them, not all of them, a good majority saw a spike of 40% increase in traffic during the week there. We had a lot of partnerships through this. Jockey Ventures out of Columbia, Her Texas from Dallas, 2 from Houston, 1 from Austin, plenty from San Antonio, as well as Con Ganas Mija over in Mission, Texas. This is another cool little highlight. There were 900 private messages shared within the app itself, the Whova app that we used. If you've been to IADC, or if you're going to be going to IADC, you'll understand how the Whova app works. So that was really cool to see that the entrepreneurs themselves were interacting with each other. Our biggest event was our boot camp, which is what we kicked it off with the weekend. And then Rosie McMichael was a huge event as well. This is kind of what I really like to share the most. Year 1, we already surpassed year 6 of Startup Week in San Antonio. So it shows that there's just like a thirsty demand for something like this in the Valley. We had 10 more sessions than them. We had way more registered attendees, and our social media reach was extremely far. We got a lot of good media coverage. These are some of the highlights from there. And then here's the breakdown of our budget. We had budgeted $50,000. We actually had $65,000 to work with because we had an additional 15 from Startup Texas that we had moved the event to participate there. So overall, the entire budget was about close to $74. With the in-kind sponsorships, the budget that we had, as well as the cash sponsorships, we came in just under the entire operation. We're looking at having the same line item for next year, just a little less of an expense, particularly because we're looking for more sponsorships, but we're also going to allow Harlingen and Mission to take a day as well. So it's RGV Startup Week. We just did it in Brownsville. We're going to continue to do it in Brownsville, but Harlingen and Mission would like to take a day so they can have their own budget. They can kind of take over the operations for like a Wednesday or Thursday. But starting and ending this event, this conference, will take place here at the Bridge Center again. And that's it. I'll open it up to any questions.
Just congratulations, it's super impressive.
Thank you.
So this is gonna be recurring, right? I guess it's gonna be every April
Yes.
26th, we're already looking at.
Yeah. Yes. Cesar's question was, will this be reoccurring every year? It will. This year we did it in May. We tried to do it, well, we did do it at the exact same time as Economic Development Week. Nobody cared about that. I went over their head. It was, it was also Mother's Day week, graduation week, and finals week. So we're like never gonna do it that week in May. We've picked a couple weeks in April to decide, kind of heavy on the beginning of April, or potentially that last week of April moving into May. We're not touching Easter week, not touching Holy Week. So we've kind of coordinated that so far. I'm gonna talk to a few other organizations, including United Way, that had an event at the same time as us, to make sure that there's no kind of cannibalization there. Not to say that we can't have more than one event, it's just there's plenty of people at the United Way event that I wanted at my event and vice versa. So.
Just a comment, congratulations. Once again, I was able to attend a few of the sessions. I was very impressed with the quality of the conference, but also what a great opportunity to highlight our local businesses. They seemed excited to participate, and it was excited to be part of that.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was really great. We had a lot of repeats from Mission and Harlingen, which are kind of the two EDCs we probably work closest with the university as well. We had over 100 volunteers from UTRGV too. They helped tremendously in the scheduling and planning of this. A lot of new faces. We also have 6 new tenants upstairs that came out of this. So we really only have 2 offices left upstairs to book. And I tell people all the time, like the reason we have been slow to fill those slots upstairs is you've got to either be a partner, a current incubator member, or you've got to be some kind of a benefit to the ecosystem here. We're not just we're not VentureX, we're not Coca-Cola, we're an incubator. This is not just supposed to be some office space. So all the tenants that we've recently brought on are all relevant to those 3 categories. Cool.
Thank you, Nathan.
All right. Next, we've got Nelson with the 22-23 BCIC annual report.
Hello, good evening. I left the annual report fresh off the press, rather. I picked it up today. So it's actually finished today. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things that you can find in the report. The first thing I want to highlight, and it's something that the board has liked in the past, is this overall impact infographic, I would say, that adds up all the impact that all the programs have had, and jobs, investment, and some other statistics that you can find on there. That's on the first pages. And some other thing I want to highlight is that opposed to other annual reports I've seen on IDC awards and I have seen in other places, the reports are usually like faceless reports of what it is. And in this one in particular, every section is introduced by the person that's in charge or was in charge of the program. So you can find that on finance programs, Victoria is going to be there introducing the section, and marketing is going to be me, and so on and so forth. So that's something that I wanted you to note on the report as well. And every report comes with a featured success story. And that's how the resources were utilized through these 2 fiscal years. One more thing, it's not only a report, it's also like an ad. So if you pick up the report anywhere, it could be maybe on the tables up front here or anywhere that we actually distribute these. You will be able to see a QR code to apply to the programs. So it's not only a way to document what we do, but it's also a tool to get new people to apply to the programs. And it's not on my slides, but at the very end, you'll be able to see a directory of all the businesses that were helped in those 2 fiscal years. And yep, that's basically it. I still have not launched it online. It's going to happen on an online version that you can download or see online. And we have 200 and something copies to distribute throughout the city. Any questions?
First of all, congratulations. It's very nice, very attractive, very eye-catching. It kind of, I like number 4, for example, kind of gives basically a highlight of everything that's been done that year. So congratulations on that. I appreciate the human touch that you mentioned, sharing the stories, the success stories. So all that's is wonderful, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
My only, you're like always like.
Oh, here it comes.
No. I'll comment on this. This is great. Is I know that we are still in the year. We're not done yet, but maybe a draft just of number 4 page.
For
of
2024?
what's- 2024. Just,
To
just
date?
this page, to date.
Okay.
Right, of what we did.
Or current, yeah.
We can easily do
Just-
that.
Yeah.
Just so we can have that ready for
Yeah.
potential candidates.
Yes.
All right, great. But
Thank you.
congratulations, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll just add some comments, Nelson. Great work. It's a great step towards kind of highlighting the emphasis on BCIC. A lot of people still in our community don't understand, don't know.
Yeah.
And this is the perfect solution. I'm taking this home, that way,
Yes, please.
I can read it and show other people as well.
Thank you.
When they're, not doubts, but when they have questions or they don't simply understand, this is awesome. So this is a great solution for that, so thank you. Thank both of you all, yeah.
And my last comment is about not using the whole report, but portion of these reports, highlights, summaries, pages, whatever, to start, sharing it through social media, through whatever platforms that
Yeah.
applicable and useful for us, right?
Yeah, the success stories that are featured there, a couple are already online by itself, so I'm gonna release all the other
Yeah.
ones. And
And
one
then-
more thing,
We're gonna do a press release too,
Yes.
so.
yeah, it's gonna be like a whole thing.
Nelson, before you continue, so you did say, you correct me if I'm wrong, but you will have like a digital
Yes.
format of exactly this, right?
Exactly.
Okay. That's what we're gonna launch, awesome, okay.
Yep. And just wanted you to know that we submitted this for IDC Excellence Awards. And one of the feedback comments that I received is that they like that it's 2 years because they can see the impact of something that might not have an immediate impact on the community, but throughout the years you can see how it evolved and it worked. And we may or may not have won an award for that. So just, yeah, okay, we won a bronze award for the annual report. So we're not officially announcing it until, it's announced in IDC, but.
That's awesome. Do you have a plan on, I have a question, do you have a plan on like hand delivering paper copies?
We, first of all, are gonna give them to the city commissioners
Yeah.
and the city staff. And after that, I am open to ideas.
Okay. I was thinking we could make a list of folks who would be nice to hand deliver, and maybe even we could help as board
Sure.
members to each take 5 or something,
Yeah, I have
something
plenty.
like that.
Any
I
other
would
questions?
recommend that you add that one page about this year to this before you hand it out to,
Okay.
especially the commissioners.
Yep.
Right?
Got
Just
it.
that one page for.
They
Thank
updated?
you, man. Appreciate it.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Okay, that was an awesome staff presentations. Thank you all. We're gonna move on to items for individual consideration, which is number 5, discussion, consideration, and acknowledgement of the May 2024 and the June 2024 financial report, including a detailed investment report as of June 30th, 2024.
I'd like to welcome Rafael from the city of Brownsville.
Good afternoon, board. Okay, do you have the power slide? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and present for the month of May. As of May, you all had a cash balance, $246,050. Under the investments, which includes the money market, it's at $14,422,995. And the accounts receivables as of May 31 was $636,870, mostly the sales tax. With an accounts payables, we only had $8,600. So leaving you net assets of $15,297,315, and as you can see, it's broken down between restricted, committed, assigned, the rainy day fund, and unrestricted. The second slide is basically the fund balances breakdown. It's the same thing. Unrestricted was at 1.6 million. The restricted was 418,000. The committed at 8,423,000. the assigned at 1.8, and the rainy day funds at 3 million. Here's a comparisons of 8 months worth of financials through May of 2023 against May of 2024. Sales tax collected was at 4.4 million compared to last year was at 4.1 million. So there's an increase of about approximately 300,000. Including the interest, the interest increased by approximately a little bit under 200,000. It was at 364,000 last year. Compared to this fiscal year, as of May, you've earned 534,000 in interest income on the investments and the cash account. Then we have the EDA contributions, which also this year it's 118,941 that went into the operating. I believe that was the last payment on the E-Bridge Center that you all collected back at the beginning of the fiscal year. On the sponsorships, we also had an increase of $93,000, 93 compared to 12,000, so it's about close to 80,000 increase. Under miscellaneous, it's a little bit low, $3,000 less. So overall, the total revenues have increased approximately about 700,000 compared to last year for the 8 months. On the expenditures, the administrative expenses increased by about a little bit under 200,000. The strategic initiatives, they did increase about 600,000. And basically, those are those programs that you all approved to fund. And the transfer in, transfer out, basically that was for the debt service that was paid off on those bonds at the beginning of in January, at the beginning of the calendar year. Yes.
We have budgeted 11 million, right? What is that?
For the strategic.
Yeah.
That's like the community development, does that include the cities?
It includes, the city, yes, it includes the payments to the city for the sports park and the administrative fees.
For this year.
And the quality, everything, quality of life, the big grants, everything is being paid
Everything
for.
is there.
Yes,
That's fine, which is, I figured.
correct.
But we just, so far, up to now, up to May, I should say, we only spend, or we actually,
But these are what's been paid out, not committed.
Correct.
So we've committed funds out of
yes.
Can you guys turn on your microphone?
Sorry about that. That 2 million, the 2.1 million, that is what has been paid.
Yes.
But we have committed funds, which that does not show the committed. So like the 3.2 for the quality of life,
But is that committed portion part of the 11 million? Or no?
of the budget?
Yes?
Yes, it should be, the 11.1.
Okay, so there were some, especially with the city, we had committed for this fiscal year, and then we had committed for next fiscal year,
That's
right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming the 24, 25 money amount for the city is not part of the 11 million, okay,
Right.
which is good. So my question is, we only have 4 months left for, see, like, are we expecting to actually spend the amount that we committed, like we allocated funds for?
It'll be transferred over to 2025. What we've committed this year, but it's on the books, but it's not been paid out because everything's a reimbursement for us for our grants. We don't, except for Nathan's programs.
So I think his question is, how much of the budget has been committed? That's not gonna show here. That's gonna show somewhere else, right?
If you can see under the committed and assigned and all that, that's basically what's budgeted. The 8 million committed, those are the programs you all approved for those big grants. It doesn't mean you haven't spent yet. It's like if you're looking at your budget, you still have 8 million.
Yeah, but didn't we give a due date, like a final date for spending those monies? For the big grant and for the quality of life, we give them a year, right? So
The
when is
quality of
that?
life is a year, the big grants are 2 years.
So the quality of life, when is the due date, like the deadline
So
for this?
we've all just executed the agreements this year, so, March and this past May and June. So you're looking
still
at a
have
full
them, okay.
another year, yeah.
All right, so
Now, we have had some small draws from a few of the organizations, but nothing that's significant.
I just want to make sure that that money that we have allocated for these initiatives are actually going to be spent. And
Yeah.
of course, according to the guidelines and the rules and all of that, but
Yes.
not like, I'll not be kind of
Just keep sitting there
sitting
and
right?
collecting,
So
yeah.
if there is some things that we can do to expedite, spending these
Yeah.
amounts, then would be, that would be great.
I-
Or if there is restriction that we're not aware of.
Yeah,
please
I
let us
am
know.
evaluating the big programs, since Miriam has left, looking at where we're at with some of the applicants. Because some of them haven't seen any progress in the projects. So I will be taking this to, what I found, to the board next month in my recommendations. I think Mark also has a question.
If, just to piggyback off what Murad said, if we had a monthly progress, like for example, a chart that showed, just look, say, as an example, the quality of life programs, we know that we approved certain applications at certain times, and then the year 12-month clock started ticking the moment it was, final, or once they signed the performance agreement. So it would be nice, because and for example, we approved months ago some of these applications, and yet we don't have any insight into what the progress is on any of those applications. And it's much like the big program. It's not, it's having a snapshot is not necessarily informative. It's the trajectory, the progress over time. So, seeing a chart that says that it's moving either this direction or it's moving flat, then it could indicate to the board that maybe there's an issue with some of the applications, and then staff can address that. So I think this is a critical piece to help us monitor and for monitoring and accountability and for decision making.
Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, the staff and I are also looking at CRM programs that also can help with project management of all of our grants. So that way, hopefully, we can have a robust data impact reports for you guys.
I think as you're doing this also, it's good for us to understand that, okay, we approve it May, but then the final approval after it went through the public hearing and all, like once you execute the agreement, it took this much, or that's the date for the agreement to kick in, right? So we see that period, how long it take, and see if we can work with the CEO or whoever to even reduce that amount.
Okay.
Like the amount
I
it
like
takes
it.
to go from us approving the request to actually have it signed and ready to roll. It seems like it takes, so we need to know these dates too. And
Okay.
then, based on the initial date of execution, how long, or when is the due date, so we see where is everybody in terms of,
And then,
how good they are gonna be.
we're also asking for quarterly reports, so we can always put that in with our consent items, so you guys can see it in our reports as well.
And yes, I'll go ahead and work with the staff also.
Thank you,
on
Mark. I
coming
like
up
My
with-
attention, that's why I wanna know, where we at with that amount. Thank you, though, appreciate it.
And then the next slide just shows a comparative of the sales tax collections. As we can see, it's at 4.4 through we've collected just April in May. So compared to the other years, I think we're kind of sort of in track to surpass whatever was collected in the prior years. And then if we go into the month of June, for the month of June, we had in the cash account $119,000. Under the investments, we're at 15 million, and the accounts receivables at 582,323, which is the sales tax for the month of May. Remember that usually the sales tax, they're behind a month and a half before we collect them from the state. Accounts payables, we had 20,825, leaving us with a total net assets of 15,713,358. On that 15,713,358, it's broken down between the unrestricted, it did increase to 2,113,000. The restricted is at 418, committed at 8.4 million. The assigned is at 1.753, and we still have the rainy day fund for 3 million. Here's a comparative for the 9 months through June from fiscal year 23 and 24. Total sales tax is at 5 million. Compared to last year, it was at 4.8. Interest is at 594 compared to last year, 422. And the rest of the revenues kind of sort of stay steady to what was reported in May. So overall, we've increased the revenues by about 600,000 from 5.2 million to 5.8 million. On the expenses, the administrative expenses were at 927,000 compared to last year, we were at 734. The strategic initiatives were at 2.279 million compared to last year, we were at 1.642. And again, we have that transfer in. So overall, the change in net position through the month of June has decreased by 571,000. And it's because of the payment for those bonds, paying off those bonds. Then we go to the sales tax history through June. We've collected through the month of May, we're at 5.060 compared to the other years. Like I said previously, we're in track to at least collect the same as the prior years or surpass it. Any questions on the regular monthly financials before I go into the quarterly investments? Okay. The quarterly investment report as of June 30, we do see that at the bank, the regular operating accounts at 336,573. The money market, there's a 4.9 million in the account, and the overall investments pools are at 12.4 million through June. So based on the policy, the investment policies and strategic that was approved, we are in compliance, whereas we're keeping less than 75% in these investment pools, and we have 25% of cash liquidity, which you can get if you need it. Any questions on the investments report?
Thank you so much.
That's all I have for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Really
appreciate it.
appreciate it. Do we have a motion?
To acknowledge.
Hold on,
I second that.
hold on, wait, let him do it again.
I move to acknowledge the financial report as presented.
I second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. We're gonna move to the next item, which is 6, consideration and action on staff releasing the draft BCIC board meeting agenda, a minimum of 96 hours before any scheduled meeting.
So this item was requested to be put on our agenda to have, by law, we are required to have the agenda posted 72 hours before our set meeting date. And so we put together a chart, not a chart, I'm sorry, just a little Excel sheet on the past 2 years of when the agenda was posted, when it was sent to the board, and any other times that we updated the packet. So this past year, we have roughly is average of we're 5 days that we send the agenda packet to the board for review. Mark, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, so last time it wasn't released. I think we had agreed, it was just more of a gentleman's agreement about releasing it several days in advance to the board. And I think the understanding was that the board would see a draft and then it's released to the public, you know, at the 72-hour mark, and that the board has time then between the few days before the 72-hour mark and that deadline to provide any other adjustments. So I've found that very helpful when staff do that. And it's not always a concrete thing. So I just want this maybe, I think having it formalized will help us get this a little bit sooner so that we can all be prepared for this meeting. Is there, so if it was on Thursday that we have our meeting, then the draft is released to the board members by Friday evening. I think that's normally, that has been done recently. And I'm wondering what the board feels about that arrangement and if they would like it formalized.
I mean, I'm fine with them doing it. I don't know that we need to formalize anything or release it to the public more than 72 hours, because we do want to give staff the time to do their due diligence and prepare an agenda that is, you know, well thought out, has the, you know, the things that need to be there to make sure that we do business. So it looks like we have one time this year, which was the June meeting, which we didn't hold, where it was less than, it was actually the 3, right? Am I reading this correctly? Yeah. So mostly we've been doing that, except for one time this year.
So the formal arrangement would be, maybe the motion would be motion to formalize the release to the board draft agenda, a minimum of 96 hours for any scheduled meeting. And that, so that is specifically to the board and not to the public. That's the motion.
Are there any comments or discussion?
You have a second?
Oh, did you make a motion, Mark?
Yes. Okay, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a motion on the floor. Are there any other comments or questions, discussion? Okay, do we have a second?
I'll have a second, just so we can have discussion. A second. I mean, just so we can move.
Okay, Murad's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay. You guys are either nays.
I said nay.
Yeah, I heard from Mark, I heard from Cesar, I heard from myself. I need to hear from Murad, Sergio, and Tracy.
So did you say 96 hours or 72 hours?
96 hours.
96.
But the 96 is for you to send it to the
For
board.
the board.
Yeah. Which is a day before the 72 hours, basically.
Okay, that's fine. Aye.
Aye.
Tracy?
Nay.
And if I could just comment on that, I just think that the administration can, great, do it 5 days ahead of time. But I think a gentleman's agreement is a little more professional than actually formalizing this. So that's just me. That's just my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, so we have 3 ayes and 3 nays, so motion is not carried. We'll move on to our next agenda item, which is number 7. Consideration and action to approve the following fiscal year 2024 business improvement and growth big rent investment program application. A, which is 1001 East Washington, Suite A, tenant Chili Moly.
Can you turn on your microphone?
Oh, I'm start again, I'm sorry. I think we were at the end of, I didn't turn it on for the end of item 6, so there were 3 nays, 3 yays, so the motion does not carry. So we'll move on to agenda item number 7, which is consideration and action to approve the following fiscal year 2024 business improvement and growth big rent reinvestment program application. We have A, which is 1001 East Washington Street, Suite A. Tenant is Chili Mole Mexican Steakhouse. And applicant is Rava Group LLC, an amount of $15,000.
So we recently received this request from Chimoli. They are in the corner of Washington and 10th Street. So their total annual rent is $66,000, and so they can do the max of $15,000 for their rent subsidy. They actually have been open more than 6 months, and so they fit the eligibility requirements of being able to apply for this rent subsidy assistance. It's actually, we do it after 3 months. So do you have, any questions?
Are there any questions?
I just had, so when we receive these, are these with the support of the staff, or is it up to us as the board to decide?
Say it one more time.
Are you, when you submit, or when we get copies of these applications to the board, do they come with the support of the staff? Did they meet all the criteria of the grant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we only present what is eligible to be considered.
Okay.
Other questions or motion?
Move to approve the request as presented.
Second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Nay.
Okay, so we have 5 ayes and 1 nay.
That's correct.
Motion carries. We'll move on to agenda item number 8, which is consideration and action to approve the following fiscal year 2024 business improvement and growth big property improvement applications. We have A, which is 1158 East Elizabeth Street, the Samano Building, extensive rehabilitation. Property owner is the Community Development Corporation of Brownsville, or CDCB, in the amount of $100,000. And we have B, which is 912 East Washington Street, the Cameron Extensive Rehabilitation. The property owners are the Historic Restoration Group LLC, in the amount of $200,000.
Okay, board, I just want to go over briefly of the 2 applicants that we received. The first one is, I'm sorry, it looks, okay, it's a little reverse. Let me go to the first one. The first one is the CDCB building, the Samana building. The request is, they came to us when we had the MUST funds. They requested $200,000 on their application. Because of the limited amount of funds that we had left when they came to us, we granted $100,000, and then we said that if we had additional funds in any of our future budget years, that they may come back to apply for the additional $100,000. So that's why they're here today, to ask for that request of $100,000. The total budget is $15 million. What they want to do to utilize the additional $100,000 is to purchase the windows and restore the facade of the Samana building. The end use for downstairs is Armand's Market and Grocery, and then they'll have a 34-unit permanent supporting housing on the upper floors. So the expected completion date is August of 2025. So they, just to also be transparent, they have not drawn on their $100,000 that we did award in 2022, and the reason was because they were waiting for more additional fundings to get to the tax rebates. So we did, in past meeting, one of the past meetings, we did approve the extension of their agreements. So the second request, now I have to go back, is the Cameron Hotel. So the Cameron Hotel, yeah.
We can vote one by one, or we can vote at the end.
Yeah, at
We
the
can
end,
vote-
one by one. So The next request is the Cameron, which is currently right now the Cameron Hotel. It's also an extensive rehab application. This is on the corner of 9th and Washington. The total project cost is $2.3 million. The grant amount is $200,000. The $200,000 for the project scope would be the window restoration, the facade improvements and signage, interior MEPs, and fire sprinkler system. So the end use will be 3 commercial spaces downstairs on the first floor and 10 residential apartments on the second floor. Out of those 10 residential apartments, 7 of them are 1-bedroom apartments, and the other 3 are 2-bedroom apartments, 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. So it's going to be a great for starter families, students to go. It's going to be a great project. It's going to be a transformative project for that corner, for that area, to repurpose what the use is right now to what it will be in, expected completion date is August of 2025.
I'm sorry. You mentioned it, I didn't pay attention. The ground floor, they're gonna use it?
3 commercial spaces. They still have to keep the lobby because they are going for the historic tax credits, so they've already got state approval. They're in negotiations for the federal tax credits because of the garage that is on 9th Street. They have to show how they're gonna utilize it because they have to keep the facade look of it. But it cannot be used as a garage because fire trucks can't go underneath to do any support. So it cannot continue as a garage. So they're going back and forth with the federal National Historic Commission to, go back on how that historic credits will be used for.
And what's the status on this project? Like, is it in progress or is it under? Like,
They
it's on
are
hold?
demoing already. The owners there's 8 partners in this. 2 of the partners have 51% and the rest of the partners have less than 10% of each. But they are demoing certain areas. It is still a functional hotel. When I went there a couple of weeks ago, I asked they have it right now is they have a person who's actually leasing the place. and they're
Recording
renting it.
stopped.
Let me wait until. We're gonna wait until the recording starts again.
Recording in progress.
Okay, all right. So they are demoing the downstairs right now, but they can't do much until they get the state and the federal tax credits in place.
And just-
So this housing, is it it's like general housing, right? It's not affordable housing. It's not for Section 8 or whatever. Is
That's
there
correct.
anything like that?
It's just regular, it's not affordable.
What's the likelihood of that they're going to fill those spaces, given that aren't there a few buildings downtown that are open for housing but are vacant?
Not that I'm aware of. Nathan, do you know of any?
Like Boudica Lofts?
Baccarat actually is full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time
Any
you-
of
Oh, it
the
is now?
Yeah.
The renovated ones are filled. The ones that are vacant are the ones that need a lot of work. So first to mind, Gold Building, the apartments above Las Ramblas, and then the ones above, I forget
Main
the,
Street?
Main Street, those restaurants. Those need a whole lot of work, but I think they only have like 2 that are vacant, and it's because of a fire sprinkler issue, so they can't even
Yeah.
fill them in if they wanted.
I actually took a tour of the hotel, and not to put it in the bad light, but what it is to what they want to be would be a great addition to downtown and clean up the area and the look, the feel. Right now, they just do it by the hour, as well as some of the tenants that are, the hotel guests are from, they cross the border, they stay here for a night, and then they go on to wherever their end destination is. So that is those two projects. So again, CDC is for 100,000 and the Cameron is for 200,000.
We talked a little bit about the budget. I saw it there on the, how much we'll have left after funding these.
I don't, do I have it on here? It's not in here. We will have a little over 200,000 if we approve both of these projects.
237. 237 and
Yes, that's correct.
1,377.
And we still have August and September.
I'll make a motion to approve sub-item A.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to approve A. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Item B.
We'll go on to item B. Do we have a motion for item B?
I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Nay.
Okay, we have 5 yeas, 1 nay. Motion carries. Okay, we're gonna move on to number 9, which is consideration and action to approve the recommendations for the following eBridge Fund RLF program application. We just have A, which is Mariscos El Pilon LLC, Food and Hospitality, Brianna Guevara and Anaí de la Rosa, in the amount of $20,000.
All right, I'm presenting this on behalf of Victoria Padron. She is on vacation today. So we did get one application for our eBridge Fund, El Peon, the amount of our recommendation is for $20,000. They have a great following right now. They do pop-up shops. So now they want to actually go into a brick and mortar off Hugh Emerson Road. And so they will use that for building improvements and purchase of equipment. And our recommendation is to have $2,000 down, 7% in interest rate for 3 years. And the first payment date would start October 1st if approved. We did also review this with Cesar to get his recommendations as well. It's 1420 Hugh Emerson. So when Alton Glover crosses over Paredes line, it turns into Dr. Hugh Emerson. And so it's just maybe, you know where Mr. G's fireworks, it's right around that area. So this little restaurant is actually in a little plaza that has 3 other tenants. So it's a new little plaza that popped up on, it's on the corner of Dana and Dr. Hugh Emerson Road.
Where is it?
It's off the corner of Dana and Hugh Emerson Road, Dr. Hugh Emerson. They just erected a little small shopping plaza. So CrossFit's is just further down. It's by Mr. G's Fireworks.
By what?
By Mr. G's Fireworks.
Oh,
I think everybody would know where that is, right?
Does this group of owners have experience?
Yes, they have over 10 years of experience. Their total investment. That is a good question.
Sorry, I was asking how much is the total investment?
I'm sorry, I can't recall. Their total investment is, they're $30,000 of their funds, and they're requesting $20,000 of ours.
So total is 50,000.
50,000. Does anybody have any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We're gonna go into item 10, which is consideration and action to enter into a performance agreement with the following 2024 Startup Texas winners for the Quality of Life Ventures Demo Day competition. We have A, which is 2024 Startup Texas Quality of Life Pitch Competition winner, Olivet Fisher from Ollie's Oats LLC in the amount of $20,000. B, which is 2024 Startup Texas Quality of Life Pitch Summit winner Todd Day of Todo Agave LLC in the amount of $10,000. And the 2024 Startup Texas Quality of Life Pitch Competition winner Danielle Gonzalez of Jarina's Fish Tacos in the amount of $40,000.
All right, thank you, board. I will go through this a little quickly. We're all kind of familiar with how Startup Texas works. This is our cohort. We started with 11 and then brought it down to 10. And then we had all 10 actually participate in pitch at the event that took place during Startup Week. This is the last pitch competition with funds directly from BCIC. The next competition and the one in 2026, those will be funded exclusively by Texas A&M Engineering Experiment Station. We're no longer going to be taking the competition route. We'll be changing the way the funds work. We're still going to offer seed funding. It's just going to be in the form of a grant. It'll be a little bit different. We can talk about that in the budget when we start talking about budget for next year. Overall, we had 20 applicants. We accepted 11. 10 underwent the accelerated program. And again, this is the last one that's going to be this was the last one that was going to be built as a competition. Had a really great turnout. I think it was probably our second highest since the Quality of Life Ventures of last year. We had 3 winners, Daniel Gonzalez of Chirinas, Olivet Fisher of Ollie Oats, and Todd Day of Todo Agave. Chirinas Fish Tacos won first place, and I apologize how they're all spread out. I did not think they'd get their performance agreement to me in time. But we were able to put it in at the last minute. They're going to utilize the funds to move into their new location. So if you're over on Alton Glore, you'll see where they're going to be at. They're on Alton Glore on the feeder, or excuse me, 77 frontage road, 7783 frontage road. They've already got the sign up. They're already kind of moving in their kitchen equipment and such. It's a much bigger facility. They have a better drive-through. Actually, $7,000 of the funding is going to actually go towards the drive-through. The breakdown's up there. I don't have to get into the weeds here. You can see it. They did make a post that they were closing downtown, but they did not mention that they were relocating. So people were kind of freaking out that they had won this competition and then kind of took the money and ran. That is absolutely not the case. They were trying to get some FOMO marketing sales. We discussed how that just didn't look good for our program. They fixed that. I don't kind of want to get too much here on camera, but I think I've spoken with some of you privately in regards to their lease agreement and kind of the issues they had with that specific spot in downtown. So it's really good for them to move out into a new spot. I'm going to move to the next one if anybody has any questions about how the breakdown of funding for them.
The location is that corner of Alton Glore and the front?
Yeah, if you're
Like where the
northbound,
gas station is?
right next to the gas station. So where the old Subway used to be.
Oh,
Yeah.
that has a lot more traction.
Yeah, they can have 40 people dine in there as opposed to the like 6 they could at the downtown location here. Next, we have Ollie Oats, our first runner-up, $20,000. She's going to utilize this funding both to enhance the existing commercial kitchen that she uses, as well as get some Texas-made or specific approval stamps. I'm trying to see up here. I'm forgetting. I'm sorry. I should have memorized this, but. They're organic, non-GMO, all those certifications that you have to get your stuff approved for. Majority of it is going to that, as well as the processing machine too, because right now she does everything by hand. Some of it is going to marketing, as well as what Chirinas was taking into effect. Just kind of giving you a forward look, moving forward when we do performance agreements for Startup Texas. We're not going to include marketing. We're not going to include things like that. It's just going to go strategically to either engineering services, prototyping services. But again, we'll talk about that when we discuss budget next year. I'm going to move on to item C if anyone has any questions for Ollie Oats.
How many employees they have now?
Right now they have one part-time and then her full-time.
So they're gonna add additional one?
Yes.
One part-time?
Yes. And we give them, I'm giving them till the end of next fiscal year. so that we don't have to push it back as we've done with a couple others when it comes to permits and such. And last, we have Todo Agave, winner of $10,000 in third place. They're going to use $10,000 of their grant funding on those certifications as well as to fulfill all their pre-order sales of 3 different types of agave syrup that they actually have. And I just realized I haven't really kind of described what they do. The other 2 were kind of clear cut. You've had all the oats. If you've gone to the farmer's market, you've had Chirina's fish tacos down here. They are actually a substitute for sugar. They're a sugar substitute for alcoholic drinks using agave syrup, but with flavored syrups as well. There's actually not a lot of competition in the United States for that specifically. So they get their product from Jalisco, they manufacture and then package here locally. And they've so far have a pre-sale of, they're trying to get to 143,000 units by the end of this fiscal year. So they've been really on me to get this going for them because they're, spending their own money while they're moving forward on this. And those are our winners, and I'll open it up to any questions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion to approve in a second. Any other comments or discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Nathan.
Yep.
We're gonna move on to number 11, which is consideration and action to approve the staff and committee recommendations to award a contract to a selected recipient to conduct the market demand and financial feasibility study and developer solicitation selection process for the undeveloped parcel surrounding Brownsville Sports Park.
So we released a request for proposal for the mixed-use development study and developer solicitation.
Microphone, please.
Thank you, Mark. We released in May a request for proposal mixed-use development study and developer solicitation and selection process for the undeveloped parcels at the Brownsville Sports Park. So the proposal, it was issued May 13th and it ended on June 12th. So we did a full month of advertising, and we advertised through the BCIC's website, the IEDC and TDC's website member portals, their social media platforms, and also through direct contact sharing by our staff and our consultants. We asked them if they could share it with their contacts. So overall, the RFP was supposed to do a highest and best use of market demand and financial feasibility study. So we wanted them to evaluate the parcel and do community engagement and then look at the growth that's happening around that area and then do an impact study of different sectors that could fit and be feasible and be supportive for the community, something that we need. The second phase of the RFP was for a developer's RFP, solicitation and selection process. We wanted this consultant firm to do that for us. They have the expertise, they have the contacts, and they know how to negotiate compared to the staff here. So out of that, we got 3 submissions. We had August Brown, Hudden Partners, and Sports Facility Companies. Right off the bat, August Brown, after reading the proposal, was eliminated. They did little things. They did shopping plazas, niche markets, and it was not a very solid proposal. So we broke it down to Hudden Partners and Sports Facility Companies. And from there, I discussed it with our Community Development Committee to talk about recommendations on how to move forward. So the recommendation was let's do some interviews with those 2 and then take it from there, and we present our recommendations to the committee and to the board. So we finalized the interviews last week, and overall, our recommendation is to go with Hudden Partners. The reason is because it was really, their proposal had a very strong comprehensive data utilization. They were the funding experts. They are the top people who do entertainment districts in the country. They are well-known in Texas. They have done many projects in Texas. Also, like, one of them is in Corpus for their area by the marina, to develop that area, their event center and such. And they had a broad scope for evaluation. So they were going to look at, not just our little area, but they were going to look at all of Brownsville, all of Cameron, to see what is there and how it can that parcel can be better utilized. So that's our conclusion, is that we feel Hudden Partners in the amount of $248,500 is the best choice for us to move forward with. We feel like it's holistic. They have a detailed approach. We didn't want to shortchange our project. We want to make sure it's something that will contribute to the community, will be help Brownsville Sports Park be sustainable. Ideally, we want it to be a family destination and be something different for the valley. So, any questions?
What's the timeline?
The timeline is 26 weeks, so if approved today, then we would move forward with agreements. They probably would initiate in September, and then we would start the clicker on that. So there is a 12 weeks of community engagement, and then they're doing their feasibility study. They do have a partner, which is, I think I have it in this one. Their partner is Convergence Design, which is an architect firm, which will help do the on-site planning, conceptuals, and such. So 26 weeks to get to the developer solicitation process. Once we get to the developer solicitation, it will take another 3 months to get that RFQ out and then do the negotiation. So it could actually take 3 to 4 months at the end. But in 26 weeks, we should have a visual, and we have a commitment from the board of how to move forward.
I have a question on the first page of the proposal. It says the cost, and then it says another $495 per hour for phase 4. What's that?
The developer solicitation, or where they will be doing the negotiations with the developers on behalf of BCIC board. So they will be directed by us on how to negotiate, but they will do it. And that was by the hour, and they did not put that in the proposal because they don't know,
Or what's an, like, I have no clue. What's an estimated amount of hours that something like this would take?
It could be 10, it could be 20 hours, it could be more. I think it really depends on how on board the board is in moving forward with, the people who have come to put in the request of being a part of the project and, negotiating the incentives, if we're gonna have incentives and such.
Can we use the money from the sports park bond reserve to pay for them?
That is a very good question, Mark, and I actually don't have an answer to that. I can ask the bond counsel if we can. We do have $250,000 set aside for this, but for any future expenses in regards to the consultants, it's not in this current budget. It was expected to put in, along with the 1.5 million, in our next year's budget, so that way we can, use that for this project as well as any other projects that we see fit that we want to help with the sports park for capital improvements.
Yeah, I'm just saying that 1.5 million will just sit there, could be for years. So any way to draw down on that, where we have 250 set aside that can be used for anything, and then we got 250 that can only be used for the sports park, or 250 out of the 1.5.
I'm sorry, Mark. I will ask the bond counsel if we're allowed to use that for consultation for the regards to the parcels to the sports park.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the choice of staff and committee for the mixed-use development study and developer solicitation for the undeveloped parcels at the sports park, contingent upon consultation with bond counsel about use of remaining funds.
I second that.
Actually, I would like to, I don't see why we have to have it contingent, because we already have the funds available. Now, if there is amount to move from one account to another, that's fine, but if it's not, we still have the funds available for this project to move forward. So I agree with, I just, Tracy, I don't see why we need to have it contingent about that. I mean, if it's feasible, great. If it's not, we do have the funds available. So we should move forward with it, either or. That's my.
I agree, Murad, and I'm perfectly fine with amending my motion.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy.
Okay, so we have Tracy's motion on the floor to approve the staff recommendation.
I second.
We
And
have
it-
You have a second on the updated one?
Yes, I second the updated motion, but just had a question for
Sure,
admin, I'm
go ahead.
sorry. The question, I noticed that, SFC is more sports-oriented. I like that we're kind of just, we're gonna do a deeper dive, right, on what the community impact or what community feedback is. What if, after they go through their process, whatever it is, they determine that, they are leaning to a more sports-oriented project? Will we revisit that? I mean, are we,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, based on the recommendation, we're kind of pushing away from SFE because of that?
No, because FSC was really just more like focused on that, and we wanted to make sure we had it broad. Also, it was apparent when we did the presentation that they had a stake in it because they do their own indoor arenas, and they wanted to put one at the sports park, and they wanted to discuss that with us. So that right there was already like,
I see.
They already had their mindset of what that use could be. So if it does seem to be that it's more sports related, we can actually be, SFC can be a part of that, the RFQ, to see if they want to submit for putting their project, at the park.
Yeah, and I'm not saying specifically, just to head towards that same direction with SFC. All I'm saying is that, what if the result of the community, input says, hey, it's pointing towards the sports arena, then, we shouldn't have a problem kind of
Yeah.
doing the U-turn towards that.
It's really
right?
important for us to have that community engagement. So that's one thing that we will, we liked FFC's proposal on the community
Mm-hmm.
engagement, because they utilize the doing a website and doing online surveys. But like we said, we could do that on our own as well. So we will, definitely are gonna have the community input, to help drive what the purpose will be.
I'm for it, so we're, really interested to see what they come up, and I think, I want to thank you and your staff, because I think that, BCIC is pushing this forward finally, and that we've been talking about this for a long time.
It is amazing how long it takes to get things done.
Thank you.
Every step, right?
Right.
Okay, so we have a motion from
One step
Tracy. Tracy, we have the second, from Cesar. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next, we need a motion to go into executive session, excuse me. Item 12 is discussion under sections 551.071 and 551.072 of the Texas Government Code regarding consultation with the attorney and possible exchange, lease, valuation, or sale of property related to the Brownsville Sports Park. The Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation may convene in a closed session. And item number 13 is discussion under section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code regarding personnel matters. The Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation may convene in a closed session to discuss the president and CEO's employment contract.
I recommend that we take a 5-minute break so we can do
We need a
your,
motion first to lead into executive
yes,
session.
I'm sorry.
Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, we're gonna move into executive session, and Corey would like to do a 5-minute transition break.
Yeah, let's do a 5-minute transition break.
Yes, we did,
We
yes.
went out. We have
Yes.
opened.
I move to.
Are we ready?
Motion,
2 seconds.
We're back in open session?
Not yet.
motion to,
There was no action taken in executive session, only discussion, about urgent matters. Correct. The record should show that there was no action.
Yes.
taken during executive.
yes, so the record shows that there were no actions taken during the executive session.
Okay, so,
And I move to open session.
okay, we've got a motion, and we got a second from Cesar. All those in favor of coming back into open session?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We are back in open session. We're on to item number 14, which is consideration and action, if any, on matters related to the Brownsville Sports Park as discussed in executive session.
So I move with a motion to authorize Corey to further negotiate the amendment of the agreement regarding the sport park with the city of Brownsville.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Second. So we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item number 15, which is consideration and action, if any, on matters related to the president and CEO as discussed in executive session. Do we have any motions?
I'll move to table. I move to table this action item for a special session with Corey providing additional data as requested.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, motion carries. We're going to number 16, which is announcements. Board, staff announcements or comments?
First of all, I want to birthday's tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
27.
Ron, you were sent a gift card via email.
Received it, thank you very much. This morning,
Oh, sorry, thank you. Recognizing Murad's birthday for tomorrow. I will send a update on the doodle via only email, not through doodle, to the ones who have responded, so we can get a response on the strategic plan, as well as there will be some type of special joint meeting, hopefully in August, with the city commissioners as well. So the city commissioners are being pulled.
Any ideas to where the venue would be?
Chambers. I just don't know if it will be upstairs on the 4th floor or if it will be in the chambers. Huh? What? No, usually, in the special meetings, they'll go on the 4th floor. And ideally, they usually do it an hour before they have the regular city commission. That's all the announcements I have. Anybody else? All right.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, meeting
Thank
is
you all.
adjourned.
Have a good week. It's a Monday this time, instead of saying weekend.